Welcome to another episode. Today we are at SEMA again with one of the most fantastic ruin tests I've ever seen. So tell us everything about your build, from the base you've used to how long it took to make it all work.
My name is Eric, and this is Eric's Low 3. I bought the car in 2018 and started with airbags, and then just kind of fell down the rabbit hole from there.
Is it a Model 3 Performance?
It is not. So I bought this car before the Performance existed.
Okay.
It was one of the original long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3s. I got it in July 2018. Sadly, I missed the boat on the Performance version, but I still love it.
Yes. So you're a very early adopter then?
Yeah.
And was it your daily driver for a while?
Yeah, for a little while. And then I started modifying it, and then now it's strictly just a show car. Now, when I first started modding it, I was one of the very early adopters of air suspension. So I'm in a club called Ruin Tesla, and 2018, 2019. We were really kind of pushing the limits of what you could do with Teslas at that time in terms of...
You mean without a wide body option?
Yeah, at that time, we didn't have wide bodies and things like that, but, we were the first on air suspension trying to figure it out and, really kind of finding out how EVs performed on air suspension and really fitment. We all worked together on trying to find, the best fitment for wheels and things like that. One of the things that I pride myself on in my build is my wheels, for sure.
All right. So tell us more about what it takes to go for a wide body full air suspension system. What are the do's and don'ts on a air suspension system?
The do's are definitely do it. It's a lot of fun. It's very enjoyable. Once you get a really a system that is, you get all your leaks out, and you get it working properly, it really is enjoyable to have. Right. The suspension feels great when you drive it, I just love it. It's great.
All right. So let's walk around the car. We'll focus on the new body kit.
Sure.
So was it the first version of this body kit, or how much did it take to make it work and fit? Is it straightforward, or is it a bit more tricky? Tell us everything.
So this was, this kit is made by Artisan Spirits.
Yes.
It's a JDM kit. It was one of the very first wide body kits. And this is one of the first that made it to the United States. A friend of mine in Ruin actually ordered the kit originally, and when it showed up, he had a change of heart, and I bought it off of him and installed it. And it was we didn't have wheel specs at the time. It was really just a lot of measuring. I rebuilt my wheels from what they were originally when I had just the air suspension. Relipped them. Went from 2.5-inch lips to now I have a 5.5-inch in the front and a 6-inch in the back.
So how wide are the wheels?
So the front is 20 by 12.5, and then the rear is 20 by 14.
Quite girthy.
Yeah.
What made you choose such wide wheel?
That's the point of going wide body, so you can fit wide wheels. When I originally ordered the wheels, I wanted the deep lips, deep dish look, but wasn't really possible with just the standard stock fenders. Okay. So the wide body, the whole purpose was to widen the wheels. It became a lot more challenging when I actually started the process, because one of the things about these wheels is they were floating spoke. So the spoke actually sat outside of the lip.
Yeah.
When I got bigger lips, they had to go inside the lip and they didn't fit. Okay. So one thing about 20-inch wheels is that they don't fit on most machinist lathes. So I had to find a machinist that had a lathe big enough that they could cut some of the spokes off, and then I had to repowder coat them. I paint matched the inner barrels, got new lips, and the measurements came out great. I'm really happy with my fitment, and there's no spacers. Everything is the wheels.
Okay. Well, while we're here, tell us about the braking system you've used.
So the brakes are actually fairly new, and they're the biggest brakes that you can get on the market. They're roll-o-face. They came out really, really great. They're 8-piston in the front, 6-piston in the rear. One of the challenges was the parking brake.
Yes.
In the rear, because Tesla uses an electronic parking brake.
Yep.
That's how they, keep it from rolling away, since it is an electric vehicle. Roll-o-Face did a great job of making an adapter that fit right on their 6-piston caliper that made it compatible with the parking brake. You'll see that they're huge. These are 405 millimeter, I believe, in the front.
Could you show us, especially in the back, how much you need to cut to put those wheels on to bring the wide body kit?
Yeah. And one of the things with the wide body, it's not just cutting your fender. I mean, there was a lot cut. I mean, to get your wheel to tuck up in there.
Yeah.
You had to go right to the door jamb. But it's not just that. It's once you attach the wide body, it's also, you got to rebuild your fender liners. That was one thing that I did, is I wanted to make sure that everything was done properly, and I built custom fender liners, so everything is buttoned up, and when I drive, I don't get any, road debris up inside the fender wells and stuff. So, it was a lot of work, but I think it came out pretty good.
You made it happen, definitely. Yeah. Let's go in the back, because a lot is going on in the back.
Yeah.
From the spoiler all the way down to the exhaust system.
Yes,
What's
yes.
this?
There's I love my car, and I put a lot of time and effort into the design of the car and the look of it and everything. But I also, kind of poke fun at it being an EV as well. So I guess we can start with the exhaust, since that's the thing that you see first. So this is, I took a real muffler, and there's a company called Thor that makes an active sound muffler that you can put under your EV to give it, you get to pick whatever sound car you want. So I took their Thor system, and I actually welded it to an actual real exhaust. And then inside the exhaust, obviously, I put LEDs.
Yeah.
And these are actually bubble makers. So it shoots bubbles out the back, and it's just kind of poking fun of the fact that it's an EV, and just trying not to take it too seriously, because obviously I spent a lot of time and I was serious about my build, but I like to laugh and have a little bit of fun.
All right. Now let's talk about the back, from the bumper up.
Yeah. So the bumper, in order to cut this out and have room for the bash bar and everything, I took a stock bumper, deleted the reflector lights that normally go here, the holes, and then this trim here, I didn't want it to just be cut off. So this trim is actually from a Model Y, and I took a Model Y rear valance and cut it, shortened it, and then I plastic molded it into the bumper cover, and then I covered the whole bumper in carbon fiber in order to just give it rigidity.
Wow.
And make sure that it wouldn't flex and crack and anything like that. So after we did the bumper cover, going up, we also have the license plate, and this is one of the digital license plates that you can get in California. But the thing about the digital license plate, specifically this one that lights up, is it has it has a backlight, and because of that, it's very thick.
Okay.
So it sticks out like that, I didn't like that, so we ended up taking inspiration from old lowriders, and we Frenched the license plate. So we made it flush, and then moving up, you can see that my team name, Ruined, was plasma cut out of the trunk. So we plasma cut a piece of sheet metal and then welded it into the trunk, and then from there I took tinted acrylic, glued it to the back of where the hole was. Yeah. And then, so that's why it looks black when it's off. And then behind that I have LEDs, and the LEDs, they can do any show mode, as you can see, but also like when I'm driving and I brake, the Ruin lights up red.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of cool.
And last bit, the spoiler is quite unique also.
Yeah, so the spoiler is molded into the trunk, but also it was made by Koenigsegg. So it was designed by Unplugged Performance and manufactured by Koenigsegg, so it's their signature weave. Yeah, we molded that into the trunk. The car is painted, it's not wrapped, so when we painted it, we left a little bit exposed so you can see that.
Tell us a bit more about the paint.
Yeah. So every panel on the entire car was cut, so it just made sense to paint the car. Okay. Rather than trying to wrap it, and trying to wrap little details like the cutout of the ruins.
That would be too difficult.
It just wouldn't look right. So the paint job, or the paint, is actually from Nardo Gray from Audi. So it's a paint match to the original Nardo Gray.
And something else we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
I noticed something on the rear doors and the front doors.
Yes.
What happened?
So we shaved the door handles, and I mean, Teslas are known for their flush door handles.
Yeah.
But again, taking inspiration from old school classics and lowriders. I wanted that nice clean look. So we shaved the door handles, and yeah.
Something else we haven't covered.
Mm-hmm.
The front bumper is also completely unique.
Yeah, so the front bumper is a carbon fiber lip that was molded in. So it was molded into one of the stock bumpers. So you'll notice that there's a transition in the paint that goes from carbon to black, and that's where the transition into the stock bumper comes in. The hood is Infinite Auto Designs, and I cut the holes out, put all custom lighting in. Most of the car was DIY, aside from some of the bodywork and paint. I had a shop do that. But yeah, I like to try to do it myself if I can.
Yeah. And this is your daily driver?
No.
No? Well, it would be a fantastic daily driver.
Yeah. I try to drive it daily.
Yeah.
I do. I find a reason to drive it every day. But I don't commute in it, and I don't haul my kids around in it. But
let's see what's under the hood.
Yeah.
All right.
So I try to keep it pretty clean. This is a 2.5 gallon tank. Got some hard lines, and this is an EL panel to get my logo to light up. So 2.5 gallons isn't. It works. I ran a 2.5 gallon at first for the car. Again, in 2018, nobody really kind of knew, what was needed for such a heavy car. So originally I had a 2.5 gallon tank, but because I missed the boat on the performance model, underneath this Frontliner, it's missing a motor. It's just a rear wheel drive. And what I ended up doing was I put a secondary 3 gallon tank.
Okay.
So I'm running 5.5 gallons, even though I have a nice clean front setup. But I do have the air capacity to suit such a heavy car.
All right, let's check out the interior.
Yeah. So inside the interior, I have all the carbon fiber accessories, custom steering wheel, paint match dash, reupholstered headliner. All my plastics were dyed, not painted.
Mm-hmm.
So I put them in acetone and synthetic dye to dye them black. I also have this switch panel in the middle that you can see. And this controls a lot of my different custom lighting. Here, let me turn that down. So in the middle we have this switch panel that controls custom lighting. It also, this is where I can turn on the bubbles. I also have, that's the Thor. So this turns the Thor on, and then you press this one to go through the different modes.
So what's the next stage for your build?
So the only two things that I have left are I want to reupholster the seats, which I'm working on a pretty crazy idea of incorporating LEDs into the seats.
Nice.
So I'm working with a company that we're going to try to do some problem solving and see if we can do something that no one's ever done before, which would be nice. And then other than that, the only thing left is the trunk. So I'm going to I have some subwoofers back there now, which actually was my very first mod. It was the very first thing I did. I come from building cars in the 90s when, sound systems were, every car had subwoofers in the trunk. I used to compete in bass competitions. Wow. In fact, all the lighting comes from my experience of installing car stereos. I'm very familiar with the 12-volt system, and in 2024 it just kind of evolved into lighting and things like that. But next on the list is just seats and trunk, and then I think I'll be done. Never done.
Until the next project.
Until the next project, yeah.
Do you know if you would be doing another Tesla Model 3? Would you consider something else?
I actually have, my next build, I really want to be an old Porsche Speedster.
Okay.
Kit car, unfortunately, I can't afford the real one. However, I want to make it completely custom, and it's probably better off for a kit car, but I want to put a rotary engine in it, and go back to my roots of building something with a motor.
What about an EV conversion?
Yeah, that's a possibility. We'll see. We'll see how it all works out. The company that I paired with to do the custom lighting, which is Current LA, they do EV conversions. Absolutely. And all of my lighting is controlled by Glowcraft, and I have 30 sets of lights. As we saw, we did the walk around, and they're all controlled by a single controller. And it's such an intelligent controller. You can, you can have lights that just flow through every one seamlessly, like they're all one light. You have the ability, as you can see, I have a large switch panel there. Each one does something different. It's hooked up into your CAN bus, so anything that the computer can do, you can then have that trigger a light show. So if you want when your door opens, a certain color to go around the driver's seat, depending on which door. Oh, that's not me.
So what's the next stage for your build?
Next stage for my build is just seats and trunk, and then that should be it. And then I think I'm going to move on to the next projects. Hopefully, I want to do an old Porsche, an old Speedster kit car, and do something really custom with that. But I want that to be a long-term build, something that takes 10 years. I want to start at the chassis and really kind of build it from the ground up. But the reason that I want to keep this until that one's finished, so I'll have one drivable and one to work on. So one of the most noticeable things about my car is all the custom lighting. I hand built all the lighting myself. I try to put them in as many places as I can while keeping it tasteful as I can. So you'll notice that I have them here in the louvers. And
the headlights and
in the hood. So these are custom infinity mirrors. And one of the things that I wanted to do when I designed these was I wanted the gap in between the pixels to be as small as possible, and I wanted the pixels to be as diffuse as possible. Okay. I don't like seeing the actual LEDs. Yeah. You'll notice all my lighting, everything is as diffused as I can get it anyway. So yeah, I got custom lighting in the hood, and the headlights are custom. These are one of one. I have infinity, those same hood lights in the vents on the very bottom, and the
underglows.
Underglow, of course. Yeah. And then I made these custom mirrors. So I cut out the acrylic and opened up, put LEDs inside.
So what do you drive when you work on this? What's your daily driver?
What's my daily driver? Yeah. I just bought the 2024 Tacoma.
Okay. Completely different thing. Yeah.
Completely different thing. Yeah. And that's just because I like to go camping and things like that.
All right. Yeah.
A little bit different. I would have loved to get a Cybertruck, but
we need a Cybertruck with more lights like this.
Yeah. If the Cybertruck, one of the things about the Cybertruck is the way they built the exoskeleton. You'll notice here that fitment is a big part of my build, and it's something that I'm probably most passionate about on my car. The thing I love the most about it is the wheels and the fitment. And the thing about the Cybertruck, the very first thing I did the first time I saw one is I went up to the owner and I asked him if I could put my hand under his under his fender, because I wanted to see if he were able to tuck tire.
Okay.
And the way they built the exoskeleton, it seems like anything's possible if you have a welder. However, it seems like you won't be able to tuck tire in the Cybertruck without modifying
cutting
the actual.
Along,
yeah, because right at the fender
is the structure.
Yeah. So that's why every Cybertruck you see that is lowered or has wheels and things, you can't get the tire in the wheel well. And that was the deciding factor for me of not getting one.
Okay.
If you could tuck tire and slam it, I would definitely have one.
Well, somebody will do it sooner or later. So yeah.
You know, one of the things that I was looking forward to the shows, coming to the SEMA show this year, was I hope to see one. I hope somebody out there cut up a Cybertruck enough that they could tuck tire. That's my dream to see this year. We'll see.
All right. Well, maybe you'll be the one next year to bring one. So I'd love to see this. Thank you very much for showing us all the tiny details in your car. I really love the wide body, the color, the wheels are fantastic, and they're like properly custom because they've been matching so much. Thank you again, and guys, I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks.